What do you do when a man with a badge thinks he owns your land? For my grandpa, Amos, the answer was simple. You fight fire with fire, or in his case, a chain and a creek. Out here in Wyoming, where the sky stretches wider than your dreams and the earth holds your roots, our family's ranch was more than land, it was legacy. But Officer Dale, the HOA's self-appointed enforcer, didn't see it that way. His shiny truck, parked on our property line week after week, was a taunt, a claim, a spit in the face of everything we stood for. Amos was no stranger to hard fights. At 78, his hands were calloused from decades of roping cattle and mending fences, his eyes sharp with the kind of wisdom that only comes from living close to the bone. He'd raised me, Lily, after my parents passed, teaching me to love this land as fiercely as he did. The ranch wasn't just dirt and grass. It was where my mother's laughter still echoed in the barn, where my father's old boots sat by the porch, waiting for a man who'd never return. But Dale, with his clipboard and his smug grin, saw our home as a problem to be tamed, a patch of earth to be controlled by his HOA's petty rules. It started small. A warning about our fence being non-compliant. A fine for our barns peeling paint. Then came the truck, parked just over our property line, as if daring us to act. Amos ignored it at first, muttering about city folk and their nonsense. But when Dale began leaving tickets on our gate citations for things like unauthorized livestock, Amos's patience snapped like a dry twig. "This ain't his land," he growled, his voice low like distant thunder. I saw the fire in his eyes, the same fire that had kept this ranch alive through blizzards and bankruptcies. One evening, as the sun bled orange across the hills, I caught Amos in the shed, coiling a heavy chain around his arm. "What are you up to, Grandpa?" I asked, half laughing, half worried. He just winked, the kind of wink that promised trouble. I should have known better than to question him. Amos wasn't one for words when action would do. The next morning, Dale's truck was gone. Not just moved, gone. I found Amos by the creek, his old tractor idling nearby, the chain dangling from its hitch like a victorious flag. Down in the shallow water, Dale's truck sat, half submerged, its hood crumpled against a boulder. My jaw dropped. "Grandpa, you didn't," but he just shrugged, spitting tobacco into the dirt. "He'll think twice now." That's when the twist came, unannounced, like a coyote slipping through the brush. It wasn't just Dale who showed up later that day, it was Mrs. Clara, the widow who owned the land next to ours. She was Dale's mother, a fact none of us knew. Her eyes were red, her voice trembling as she stood on our porch. "That truck," she said, "was my husband's. Dale parks it there to feel close to him. He's been lost since his father died." My heart sank. Amos's face, usually stone, softened just a fraction. He didn't apologize, that wasn't his way, but I saw the weight of her words settle on him. Clara's story changed everything. Dale wasn't just a power-hungry cop. He was a son grieving, clinging to a piece of his father. Amos, who'd lost his own son, my father knew that pain too well. The next day, he hitched the tractor again, this time to pull the truck from the creek. It was a slow, grueling task, the chain groaning under the weight, but Amos worked without a word. When Dale arrived, expecting a fight, he found his truck on dry ground, battered but whole. Amos met his eyes, not with anger, but with something like understanding. "Park it somewhere else," was all he said. Dale never parked on our land again. The tickets stopped, the HOA eased off. But more than that, something shifted. Clara started visiting, bringing pies and stories of her late husband. Amos, gruff as ever, listened. The ranch, once a battleground, became a bridge. I learned then that courage isn't just about standing your ground, it's about knowing when to pull someone else's truck out of the creek, even after you put it there. In the end, the land held us all, Amos, me, even Dale. It taught us that legacy isn't just about fighting for what's yours, but about making room for others to heal. The creek still runs, carrying away the weight of old grudges, and our ranch stands stronger for it. Yindi.